our public hearing for Wabash Valley Resources. My name is Jenny Acker. I work in the Air Permits branch, and I am the branch chief. I'm going to serve as the moderator for this public hearing regarding these two draft permits for Wabash Valley Resources. One is a PSD significant source modification, 167-45208-00091, and an accompanying significant permit modification with the number of 167-455-97-0001. Also here from IDEM's Office of Air Quality Permit Branch is Brian Williams. He is the section chief, and Taylor Wade, who is the permit reviewer. We have Natalie Rodriguez here, and she is from our media relations and communication group. So if we have any reporters in the room that haven't met her already, please do so. She will be your contact. And we have Ashley Estes and Missy Jackson up at the front desk, who hopefully you've met, and they're here from our administrative group. We will be taking testimony at today's hearing. If you've already completed the speaker form, we have them here. We will call you in order. At the end of going through the speaker forms, we will open the floor and you can raise your hand if you decide you've changed your mind and want to speak. We have a citizen summary at the table. I think I saw a lot of people grabbing those. It's going to provide information on how you can provide additional comments after the public hearing. The public comment period for this permit will close on Tuesday, October 10th, close of business. So please make sure that you have an email. We have an email address, or if you mail them in, that they're postmarked by that date. We have a court reporter here attending the hearing. He's making an official record of all comments and questions. We will use that transcript to respond to all of your comments. It will be a written document that will be included with the draft, the final permit. I don't have this thing. Given the size of the meeting today, we're going to limit each speaker to 5 minutes. That's going to allow 12 of your neighbors to speak per hour. Again, when we get to the end, if you want to come back up and speak again, you can do that. It's very important to remember during this hearing that only one person may speak at a time. When we call you up, please state your name clearly for Lindsay, our court transcriber, to catch your name. Okay. So our first speaker is going to be Brad McHale. Okay. And our second speaker is going to be Whitney Boyce.
Thank you. My name is Brad Masak, M-A-C-A-K. This new plant could release over 1 million tons of planet-warming CO2 emissions every year from their new turbine alone, according to the company's own application. If they burn gas in their turbine instead of hydrogen. In addition, nitric oxide air emissions can cause cardiovascular disease, lung impairment, and asthma. IDEM failed to consider the best emissions controls or the toughest emission limits for this pollutant. Therefore, we ask that you reject Wabash Valley Resources air permits. Thank you.
My name is Whitney Boyce, and this is my mother, Susan Stroll-Claus. Whitney, W-H-I-T-N-E-Y-B-O-Y-C-E. Susan Stroll-Claus, S-U-S-A-N-S-T-R-O-L-E-K-O-S. So first off, I have a list of questions here that were submitted to the EPA on August 10, 2023, and they have yet to receive answers. These have also been given to Wabash Valley Resources, so we are really hoping that we will get answers to our questions tonight. We appreciate your time. We are strongly opposed to Wabash Valley Resources destroying our air quality and environment while offering so little benefit to our community. Looking at Wabash Valley Resources' request for significant modification to their air permit and the technical support documents that they sent has raised some questions. In the air permit, they said they are completely separate from the adjacent Wabash River Highland plant. However, they are connected in their wastewater permits, which would suggest to me that these processes are connected in other ways. Why else would you need a permit's carbon copy sent to an adjacent facility? In the air permit, Wabash Valley Resources uses the SIC code 28, chemicals and allied products, but in their water permit, they use SIC code 49, which is for electrical services. Now, I don't know, but can a company choose which SIC code they want to use for which permit? Since SIC codes are linked to environmental regulations, wouldn't this mean that they can choose the least restrictive regulations to follow? Last but not least, the Wabash River Highland plant stated in their wastewater permit, the connected facility covered under NPDES permit number IN 0006313-4, which is Wabash Valley Resources, will be undergoing substantial operational changes during this permit cycle. Once those changes are finalized, the Wabash River Highland plant facility should submit a modification. Why would they need modifications if they're not connected in any way? It appears that Wabash Valley Resources has gone to great lengths to separate themselves from the Wabash River Highland plant. And I'm just curious, is this because they do not want to be labeled one major source of pollution? Furthermore, Wabash Valley Resources' carbon capture system is incredibly energy intensive. Originally, they stated they would require 55 megawatts, but later it was stated that they may need up to 90 megawatts of electricity. Now, for reference, another local industry's peak usage is only 5 megawatts. Wabash Valley Resources has entered a pass-through agreement with Duke Energy, and in this, Wabash Valley Resources stated that they would require a new facility from Duke and agreed they would cover the cost. Essentially, they require a new power plant to run their system, which will create another new source of air and carbon pollution. This undermines the whole goal of capturing carbon in the first place. Besides the health and safety risks that go along with carbon capture, the environmental benefits are just still questionable. For example, the IDEM plant in Decatur, who was paid hundreds of millions of dollars by the government to capture their carbon, has failed to meet their promised goals. Since starting operations at its largest project in 2017, the company has yet to reach its stated milestone of 1 million tons, and annual emissions stored are about half of those projected, according to the EPA. In fact, according to EPA data, overall carbon emissions from IDEM's facilities in Decatur increased from 4.2 million tons in 2016 before they began carbon capture to 4.5 million tons of CO2 in 2020 after the carbon capture project went online. Not only this, but they did not accurately estimate their emissions and thereby violated the Clean Air Act and were fined by the EPA and the Department of Justice. There have been many known violations from many companies, and there are many that have gone unreported. So how can we trust that a company will accurately self-report their emissions? Good stewardship of our land and community are paramount to all of us, and we are more acutely aware of environmental impacts here than the company, because we have lived here all our lives and we're familiar with the land, the unique ecosystems, and the environmental impacts that companies have had when they come in and when they leave. Take the old Duke Energy facility and Western Tar Products, which most of us know as the creosote plant. Both of these industrial endeavors had negative effects on our health and environment, from fly ash that they are still trying to clean up to contaminated water found far from the businesses themselves to the stench that made Terre, Haute, and Vigo County notorious. We have seen environmental rebound after these companies left. Bald eagles and egrets, protected species, and many other forms of wildlife are flourishing, and our community has spent a lot of money investing in these environmental rebounds. By letting them come in and pollute, aren't we taking a step backward? Working towards environmental justice requires that we meaningfully involve communities that will be heavily impacted by projects.
Okay,
We as a community have not been asked.
Okay, thank you. Next up is Janet Stroll, and following her will be Kathy Brock.
Hello, my name is Janet, Janet Stroll, STROLE-CIAMTEO. The company is proposing to modify their decades-old and mothballed gasification plant to make hydrogen and CO2 from dirty fuels like biomass, coal, and petcoke. They claim they will capture the CO2, but the permit application and draft permits say absolutely nothing about that capture scheme. IDEM didn't analyze the technology required to make the new hydrogen production and CO2 capture happen. So the permit is fundamentally flawed. Therefore, we ask that you deny Wabash Valley Resources their air permit.
Thank you. After Kathy speaks, we're going to have a Douglas Bohannon. Yeah, thank you.
My name is Kathy Brock, B-R-O-C-K. We're local residents and the forebearers of several effects of air pollution from the Wabash River coal plant for more than 70 years. Since the 1950s, this community already has to live near multiple Superfund sites and hazardous waste facilities. Don't you think it's time that we get a break? Therefore, we ask that you deny the Wabash Resources air permit. Thank you.
Thank you. After Douglas, we'll have Diana Malik? Masak, thank you.
Mine's pretty short and simple. I cannot believe anybody would think that injecting 100 pounds of CO2 under the communities of a bunch of people could be anywhere near safe and nothing to worry about. That's 1,440 minutes a day that stuff's creeping all underneath of us. It's waiting to find its way up. And it will find its way up. That's all I have.
Thank you. After Diane, we'll have Bill Wilson speak.
My name is Diana, D-I-A-N-A, Masak, M-A-C-A-K. The company told the world that they were planning to build an ammonia plant for a few years after they acquired the site in 2016. Then the company applied for an air permit in March of 2022 with no plan for an ammonia plant. They were going to run a full-time power plant. Then in September of 2022, they changed their mind back again. It's impossible for affected residents to keep up with the changes or even to trust WVR and that they're even going to stick to whatever they're saying at the moment. And not to mention that the owners of the company are three are out-of-state financial investors, plus a startup truck maker trying out a newfangled technology. None of them are based in our little community. Therefore, we ask you, please reject the Wabash Valley Resources air permits.
Thank you. After Bill, we'll have Tony Masak.
He's not speaking. Tony's not speaking. Scratch it off.
My name is Bill Wilson. You know how to spell Wilson, I need to spell it for you. I'm the one that when I come across the road and put the thing in my feet. It's not gonna happen. I'm a long generation of service people. 4 of us boys were in the Vietnam War at the same time. And we fought for this country, so you people can sit there like you are. Don't act like you don't know what's going on, because this is very, very important to us. This is a nice neighborhood here, and it's gonna stay like this. They are not coming on our property. I talked to the farmers from the highway to my place where they're gonna put the road. Try to be nice. They're gonna put the little well, it looks like something come out of a Cracker Jack box. There's nothing like they're planning on putting in there. And I live where there's mines, and across the road, I got a large woods that is carbon captured. And that large wood has got a lot of mine holes in it or soft spots. You know, I better shut up before they take it away. But this is not going to come on our property. None of the farmers that are signed for that to come in. A couple on down the road did because they lied to them and said it's going to be hydrogen. Lie, lie, lie. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is going to be Donald Bohannon, and after Donald will be Doug Scott.
I'm going to speak about the kids that ain't born yet. They want to pollute our water and our land. And the silver spoon backstabbing legal thieves that got paid are going to let them do it. And you can stop this by not giving them their permits.
Thank you. After Doug, we'll have Katrina Jones speak.
Good evening. My name is Doug Scott. My name is Doug Scott. As I understand it, some of the emissions from this plant will be sulfuric acid, CO2, amongst other things. I was around when the power plant was running. I was around when the Eagles went away. Since the power plant is shut down, they've worked very hard to get the Eagles back into their native nesting area. If this company is allowed to start spewing out toxins again into the air, those eagles will go away again. I made an oath in 1986 to protect my country from all threats, foreign and domestic. If this is not a domestic threat, I don't know what is.
Thank you. After Katrina, we'll have Amy McLennan speak.
My name is Katrina Jones, C-A-T. Katrina Jones, C-A-T-R-I-N-A, Jones, very simple. IDEM has been led to assume that the CO2 produced at the gasification unit would be captured just by simply taking the company's word for it. The carbon capture technology would actually work. But when the technology has been tried at other plants like this one, they haven't achieved anything close to 100%. Nothing close. As the draft permits are written, we see no enforceable requirement for the company to do what it's claiming to do, or what it claims it will do, and capture 100% of the CO2. Therefore, we ask that you deny Wabash Valley Resource the air permits.
Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Amy McLennan, A-M-Y-M-A-C, capital L-E-N-N-A-N. I'm the daughter of Paul and Eleanor Ford, longtime residents of this area. Thank you for allowing us this hearing. I just want to say that I grew up in this area as a kid. I was here when we didn't have all the wildlife that we have now. I've come back, in fact I moved back here to live in this area because it is such a beautiful natural resource. It is, I can live there without air conditioning in my house. I can have the windows open because there are ravines and streams and woods that naturally cool my house. I'm all for, fighting global warming, but there are other ways to do it than by this extremely unproven, inefficient technology that they are trying to experiment with on all of us here. This company is unproven, they are untested, they have made wrong turns every step of the way. They thought that they could get away with and avoid a PR nightmare, in their words, by situating this pollution-producing factory here in our neighborhood. And they said that is a direct quote. They said that they thought they would avoid a PR nightmare. And I'd like to tell you that they failed at that too. We have no accountability. They have no accountability. This is a giant red flag. Why did they go to a lot of efforts to pass legislation that excluded them from any kind of recourse for damages from this endeavor? Why is it our community? Other communities all across the Midwest are fighting pipelines and facilities that are planning to do just what Wabash Valley Resources is doing, and they at least have recourse, but we have been stripped of the ability to protect ourselves because of their lobbying efforts and what they've done. They did everything in their power to try to slip this under the rug and get all their permits through without informing the public. They did a very poor job of communicating with us, and I think that was intentional. From everything that I've been able to learn from them, and I've gone to, I think, probably every hearing that I could in this area. I was out for a little bit, I broke my wrist. But this company seems to be really primarily in the business of raking in tax credits on our backs and on our lungs and on our health, rather than producing something that's beneficial. I think that's sort of a sideline and excuse. I think that they're all about getting that 45Q tax credit for as long as they can get it, 45 quarters. Then they're going to pack up their carpet bags and take off and leave us here with their trash.
You got it.
I just want to thank you for allowing us to be heard. This is a serious issue. I moved back here because of the beauty of this region, because of the connections to the land that I've always loved. But also, I'm grateful to have discovered just how wonderful the people are here, and how much they love this place as much as I do. And we hope to pass it on to future generations.
Thank you. Next up will be Maria Osborne, followed by George Smith.
Good evening. I'm Marie Osborne, M-A-R-I-E-O-S-B-O-R-N-E. Wabash Valley Resources has been called by the state of Indiana a pilot project for legislation SB 451, specifically for the counties of Vermilion and Vigo. By definition, a pilot project is a small-scale test of an idea. Again, small-scale test of an idea. It has been stated multiple times that this is to be one of the largest carbon capture and clean hydrogen production projects in the United States. Under the current air permit application, Wabash Valley Resources has asked IDEM to have the facility be considered a minor source under the Clean Air Act. However, since this is a pilot project, and no average emissions data from other sources could be available, how can this claim be made? Since there is no data available to compare to the standard emissions table and verify that this source would be considered minor under the Clean Air Act regulations, wouldn't that be considered a risk to the environment and well-being of the people? With all of these unknowns surrounding this pilot project, we ask that you deny their air permits.
Thank you. Following George Smith will be Jay Hopper.
Hi, my name is George Smith, and it's just like it sounds, G-E-O-R-G-E-S-M-I-T-H. And this is more of an informational thing for people that may not have heard it yet. Just a couple of days ago, 13 House Democrat Hear me now?
Yes.
A couple of days ago, 13 House Democrat representatives asked Biden to block CO2 pipeline construction until the new federal safety guidelines are released. They cited the Dodge gaps on CO2 and transportation safety. CO2 pipelines are not covered very well, regulated very well by the Pipeline and Hazardous Materials Safety Administration. As it is now, there's no state or federal limit on how close that the pipelines can be installed towards homes, schools, or hospitals. There's no limit on impurities allowed into the CO2 stream, and there's no standard method to map out any hazard zones. So for you that have not heard that, maybe the politicians are slowing down just a little and trying to use a little bit more common sense. Thank you.
Thank you. After Jay, we'll have Doug Martin speak.
Hello, my name is Jay Hooper, H-O-P-E-R. I ask that you not approve this permit as written because I think it's incomplete. In 1972, the federal government sent to the states the obligation to regulate noise pollution. And maybe it's in there, but I didn't see it. So if that's something that needs to be in there. I live about 2,023 feet from the plant. And my experience has been that the plant radiates between 110 to 180 decibels at times. Enough noise to rattle my windows. And I think that you guys need to get that permit to be complete. So I think the permit is written is incomplete. Thank you.
Thank you. After Doug, we'll hear from Barbara Batista.
Hello, my name is Doug Martin. Can everyone hear me? No. My name is Doug Martin, M-A-R-T-I-N. I'm the town board president of Universal, Indiana. Never heard of Universal. Wabash Valley Resources never heard of us until a couple months ago, to be quite honest. Once I spoke at the EPA hearing, I turned around and said, "Do you know where Universal, Indiana is?" None of them, I think, had a clue. I want to thank IDEM for having this public hearing. I was one of them that requested it. I understand that you're in a very political tight spot with all this that's going on because higher ups want this to happen because this is not about climate change. This is not about saving the planet. This is about greed and money is what this is. Valley Resources funded $90,000 to politicians in this state to get this bill passed. Our town budget Universal is $50,000. When they came to Universal, we asked what happens when all the pipes bust and the plume starts going around town. We got old people, you know. We don't have bicycles to pedal everybody out because when the EMS come in, it's going to drain oxygen out of there, right? They said, well, you know, we might be able to fund a little bit to the fire department. They finally figured out who the fire department was in our area too, because they did not know that when they applied to the EPA. So we're not happy. This is just another example of, you know, corporate socialism that goes on in America day in and day out. The people who are wanting to bury carbon dioxide in the ground, the oil and gas companies and the billionaires and whatever, just not too long ago were all screaming, we can't do that, it's unproven technology. But then the credit, the federal credit goes through, and there's billions of dollars involved. So now, you know, they're about jumping on the bandwagon. Mr. Zeller, the former Indiana attorney governor, when Obama was president and tried to put emissions regulations on the states, he was one of them against it. Now, he's the savior of planet Earth, people. He's going to save the Universal, he's going to save West Terre, Haute, he's going to save everybody because he's going to stop global warming when he already said it didn't exist. So this is what we're talking about here. So the anger is not towards IDEM. You've done a great job. You've helped us along at the state level. So we're venting because we're frustrated. We're venting because we've been left out of the conversation. We're venting because we don't want our drinking water poisoned. We don't want our houses leveled by earthquakes. And we don't want our cattle, our alpaca, and our cats suffocated and dying in the streets of Universal, New Goshen, Terre, West Terre Haute, anywhere in between.
Thank you. After we hear from Barbara, we'll hear from Travis Newman.
Hello. Hi, I'm Sister Barbara Batista, B-A-R-B-A-R-A, B-A-T-T-I-S-T-A. I'm a Sister of Providence. There's several of us here tonight. We've been in Vigo County in the Wabash Valley since 1840. Actually, several hundred, more than hundreds of us have lived here and called this place home. We dedicate our lives to human thriving, to the thriving of planet Earth and the human and non-human creatures that inhabit this place. I want to read 3 sentences from this little review or summary. It says here, Office of Air Quality issues air pollution control permits to sources that emit emphasis on regulated levels of pollutants. Permits require sources to comply with all health-based and technology-based standards established by the US EPA and the Indiana Environmental Rules Board. Here's another important sentence. If an applicant demonstrates that they will be able to comply with all federal and state laws regarding air pollution, IDEM is required by law to issue the air permit. I want you to know that the company's not reliable. I don't know how. Know how, in good faith, the company could demonstrate that they will be able to comply with all federal and state laws. By its very nature, the manufacture of anhydrous ammonia and the running of diesel combustion engines at such huge numbers, and I don't know the science behind those. I know the health-based effects. I'm a healthcare provider besides a vowed woman religious dedicated to human thriving. That's what I'm up here to talk about, that we want to thrive here. Lots of us call this place God's country because I believe it is. And so I urge you to, IDEM, I urge you to take your responsibility, as I know you want to, completely seriously. And think about, will the applicant be able to demonstrate that they will be able to comply with all federal and state laws regarding air pollution? Because I don't think they will.
Thank you. After we hear from Travis Newman, we'll hear from James Beckering.
Travis Newman, Travisneewman. So, I got a couple things I'd like to address on this about it's their error. It was mentioned earlier about the Senate Bill 451, but anyway, in the Indiana Code, there's an ammonia plant pilot project. It's listed at 444 Sanford Avenue. And in your permits, it lists the same address, 444 Sanford Avenue. So if somebody could get back to me and let me know who owns that property, because it's a .281 acre parcel. So it is, you can look it up on Beacon GIS for Vigo County, and you can see that there's there's definitely a concern as to who owns 444 Sanford Avenue. The owner of 444 Sanford Avenue, listed in the Indiana Code as a pilot project and listed in the IDEM permit, is Duke Energy. So why is Duke Energy not listed in the permits? Why is WVR the only one that we see? When the real owner of that property is Duke Energy. So that's a big one. Because all the property around it is owned by WVR, and WVR transferred that property to Duke Energy last year. Something you look into. Could you answer why that is? The other thing I like to speak to is the environment. So, I live in Vermilion County. I breathe the air in Vigo County all day at work, and I breathe it at home in Vermilion County. And I don't see how, with all the fraud and deception that this company has done, and I don't want them putting out any kind of thing into the air that I have to breathe. They do not deserve any trust. So whatever they say they're going to do, I have no faith they will do that. So that's what I really want to say, is that this permit needs to be denied. The community that makes the environment, that owns the livestock, that feeds the wildlife, that lives in it, makes this environment, does not want this company here, does not want this company doing anything in the air, which will go to the ground, and into the ground. So they're producing waste streams, and we do not want any more waste streams created to be put into our community, our environment. Thank you.
Thank you. After James, we'll hear from Olson Kerwin.
Hello, my name is James Beckering. I'm from Clinton, Indiana, but I own property at the Universal mine site that will be inside the 2-mile diameter plume around the wellhead. It's about 2,000 acres. And I'm just kind of wondering if anybody from IDEM has ever been out there and looked at that property. And just take a mental note of what you're getting ready to pollute, what's under there. There's at least 30 lakes in that 2,000 acres. They're all connected. And you guys are all for wetlands and habitat and helping all that out. This is all connected. If you look on Google, it's one of the premier places in the United States to see tundra swans and trumpeter swans. We have short-eared owls. We've got, periodically, we get whooping cranes. We've got quail, pheasant. They're not pen raised. They all live there. This place is a wildlife sanctuary that equals Goose Pond. And I want to know if this same pilot plant was being built in Duggar, if you would permit them to bury carbon under Goose Pond, or in the Hoosier Forest, or under Turkey Run. That's all public ground. This is all private. We take care of it, we manage it, and now somebody's wanting to take a permit and ruin it for all our happiness, all our economic well-being, we put into this place. So just think of that. Would you put this under Goose Pond, or in any state-owned property that you guys are supposed to be looking out for? I think you would.
Thank you. After Olson, we'll hear from Abby Whiteford.
Yeah, my name is Kerwin Olson, Kerwin Ols. Can you hear me? Okay. And for purposes of the record, I am the Executive Director of the Citizens Action Coalition of Indiana. I speak tonight not only on behalf of our members and supporters in Vigo and Vermilion County, but also our tens of thousands of members statewide who breathe the air, drink the water, pay taxes, etc., and pay energy prices. And I want to commend IDEM, I do, for scheduling this public hearing. You didn't have to do that considering the comment period had already expired. But thanks to Doug Martin for requesting it, and thank you to IDEM for scheduling it. That's a good show of faith. And we will be filing extensive comments by the deadline related to the emissions and the details of the permit. But there are a couple of points that I wanted to make. First, I wanted to echo the comments of Mr. Martin and others that this is absolutely not about climate change, not about reducing emissions, because what we are talking about here is constructing a new source of CO2 emissions, not reducing emissions from an existing source. And in order to run that equipment, run that capture unit, that's going to require an extraordinary amount of power, extraordinary amount of energy, water usage, and other things. So to be clear, we would urge IDEM to also consider the life cycle greenhouse gas analysis of the entire scope of the project from cradle to grave, because we are they're asking to build a new source of CO2. So how can that possibly be a reduction of CO2 emissions? And the other point I want to make, I think IDEM needs to strongly consider, as they consider this permit, is this is effectively a request to authorize the construction of a new IGCC, a new gasification facility. Our experience with IGCC and carbon capture has not been that great. Whether it's the failed Kemper project in Mississippi, abandoned after $7.5 billion without capturing any carbon, whether it's the failed Indiana gasification, SNG project from Leucadia, of which the state of Indiana, industrial customers, gas utilities, legislative service agencies, multiple agencies, stakeholders like ourselves, spent tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars in legal fees, regulatory proceedings, legislative battles. That project was failed. Nice new shiny gasification facility, going to capture the carbon, send it down to the oil fields, never happened, wasted millions of private and taxpayer money. Let's not forget Edwardsport. $4.5 billion later, guess what? It hasn't captured a single drop of CO2. And it was sold to the state under a lie. Greenwashing. The state of Indiana only supported that plant. Testimony from the OECC, cause number 43114. They supported that plant because they were allegedly going to capture
at least 17% of the carbon for Everettsport. Not gonna happen, didn't happen. Money down the drain. And here we have another company, out-of-state investors, that somehow are magically, they're gonna figure it all out. Whether it was FutureGen, Edwardsport, Kemper, Indiana Gasification, all of these sophisticated power and energy companies couldn't get it done. Yet these folks are gonna come in here on the backs of taxpayers. This is a company stretched thin with a questionable debt to equity ratio. I know IDEM knows that. Their first round of funding came from taxpayers, the Coal First Grant. Their second round of funding came from taxpayers, the Hydrogen Demonstration Project Grant. Now they're asking for approval of an additional $1.2 billion in a federal loan guarantee backed by guess who? Taxpayers. So we urge IDEM to consider what Citizens Action Coalition considers the absolute fantasy that is coal gasification with carbon capture, which has been a broken promise for over 20 years. You guys have the ability to stop this, protect taxpayers, and protect this community, and reject this permit. Thank you.
Whiteford. I moved to this area because it was a more pristine area. It's quiet, it's like a town I grew up in, except it's more wildlife.
Can't hear you, Abby.
Right to your mouth. Like I said, I moved to this area because it is a pristine area. It's more how I grew up. More? Oh, okay, I'll talk real loud then. I don't understand the methods they have even chosen. There's other ways to sequester CO2. Algae, they can have it on site, except it sounds like a really little property. 2.7 tons per day. It can be used in the making of concrete. Reduces CO2 from concrete by 70%. This company sounds dodgy from what everyone says. I'm a little behind because I didn't even know it was happening. I got a letter 2 days before the deadline to ask if I had any questions. I had known for about 3 weeks when all the signs started appearing in the yard that it was even happening. I want to know, there's over 130,000 abandoned, orphaned CO2 sequester sites in the United States. How do you guarantee that doesn't happen there? And if it does, who pays for it if something goes wrong? I also want to know that according to statistics, if you live within 10 miles of one of these sites, even if nothing goes wrong, it lowers your property value by 10%. Are Vigo County and Vermilion County prepared to lose 10% of their property taxes? Because that would be fair. In other words, does everyone in this room pay 10% less? We're already poor counties. That's the part I don't understand, is there's no respect for the land. I lived in a neighborhood that had poor air quality from industry. I understand when the oxygen tanks go around the neighborhood 2 days a week. That's the God's truth, like the milkman. But this is not viable. This only is a glorified landfill. And it's a hazardous landfill. And if you don't poison the water, you can lower the water table enough that there isn't water. No water to clean, no water. I don't really have much else to say, but it's a real, I have more respect for the earth than that. And I like clean air. I moved down here because there's clean air. I don't mind if they clean the air in Terre Haute, but having an industry going in that's going to do nothing but pollute by someone you can't trust makes no sense. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we'll have Doug Wanham, followed by Isla Loomis.
It's Douglas Whalen, W-H-A-L-L-O-N. I've been to several of these meetings, and the one we attended over on 7th Street, as a concerned citizen, I have to look at this and look at the point of what they were thinking when they approved this. And they approved this based on they were going to give jobs to those people in this county. In this county, Vigo County and Vermilion County are two of the poorest counties in Indiana. And they thought that they would get by simply by promoting the jobs. And they haven't done that. They have gone against the people. They've gone against the religion. They've gone against their feelings. And they have gone out and done this in the name of jobs. And this is not in the name of jobs. This is in the name of the taxpayers and the people in this community that are all around you that are sitting here now. And these people are not about the jobs. It's about the county and about the what's being pumped into underneath, what's pumped in above, what's pumped in above the ground and below the ground. That's all I got to say.
Thank you. Let's try Ian Loomis.
There you go.
I had absolutely zero intention on speaking tonight, so it's all kind of chicken scratched on here. I'm sure it'll go all over the place. But first off, I want to thank our community for coming out. We clearly have some concerns about this. We clearly are passionate about this. And it's nice to see everyone out with one unified voice. Second, thank you to IDEM for having this meeting. Not necessary. I think it's truly beneficial to hear what the community has to say. You know, we've had poor communication from Wabash Valley Resources from the very start. And at the first meeting, I think we all saw that they were there, as well as their political cronies. Okay? We saw that more at the second meeting as well. We're not seeing it unless they've got new faces or they're hiding in other areas. Where is Wabash Valley Resources? It's something that should be so important for them to be here if they're going to be part of our community. If they're going to be stewards of our land and this is all safe, where are they? I'm absolutely certain that some of the folks from IDEM here are wondering why people are talking about carbon capture storage and pipelines when that's something that they don't really deal with. And I understand that. I truly get it. And I think part of the reason why we're still on that topic is because we haven't been heard. And when we have been heard, we haven't gotten the answers back. We've been promised and we've been led to all this stuff that, hey, we're going to get answers back to you. You guys will hear. We promise. And then it's silence. And it's silence until we start speaking up again. And that's not how this is supposed to work. If this is supposed to be good for our community and not their pocketbooks, they should be here. These people that we elect should be here. But they're not. People come here for one reason. They move to, whether it is Universal, West Vigo, New Goshen, South Vermilion County, they want to be left alone. They want generational use out of their properties. I've heard countless times about people who literally have lived here and their grandparents lived here and they've all lived on the same property. My wife and I moved here about 20 years ago and have since purchased other property, and we built there with the sole intention on it being passed down to our family and to our kids and to our grandkids. And that's what you're going to see with this entire community. And I think that's why we're so passionate. So why are we here today? Well, I mean, why? I think everyone here feels that there's been a good amount of disrespect to our community, especially by Wabash Valley Resources. The continued lies and deceptions by a lot of our politicians, I'm not saying all of them, but a good number of them. This has clearly been set up in the background for years. And we don't even know if this is the end goal. I mean, how many times has this company changed? It's what, their goal? How many times have they changed their name? How many financial contributions have we still not found out about? Our only legal options left right now that we feel like really lies with IDEM and the EPA. Legal options. And all the while, there's less and less involvement from our elected officials. Now that John Ford is resigning, is he taking on the role of junior Captain Planet, just like Greg Zoller did? Will he be working for Wabash Valley Resources? Because it's clear he was already on their payroll, just in a different capacity. So why our community again? It's simple. In the words of Wabash Valley Resources, in their own words, put it that close to Terre Haute would be a PR nightmare. Perhaps they should pipe it down to Riley or down to South Terre Haute, where a lot of their VPs live. God, they're so confident with this. Let's have it there. But they aren't generational residents. They're here to use the land, make their money, and move on. Terre Haute used to be the armpit of America. Anyone that's been here for over 10 years knows that. Since that creosote plant left, it's gotten better. I grew up in northern Indiana myself, up in the region where air pollution was high, allergies, breathing problems, asthma. These were common even amongst the youth because of the pollution from the steel and other industries. There is zero reason for our area to regain that title of the armpit.
Thank you. That concludes our speaker forms, so we're going to open the floor to anybody. Yes, sir. If you want to come up, state your name clearly to the transcriber, Lindsay, and we'll give you 5 minutes.
Most of you know me by name. Is it on?
Yeah.
My name is Jim Dawson. I'm going to be right here with Bill. I'm going to be
right on the line.
Yeah, on the line, so to speak. I've noticed on the news lately, I was going to say the same thing you already said. You read my notes. You read my notes, but anyway, I'm not going to talk on that. I noticed that they're going to pump the water out of the Wabash and spread it on above Lafayette. So what are they going, how much water are they going to take out of the river? So what's going to happen then? Then they're going to pump all the poison in the ground. They're going to poison. Now they're going to put it in the air. They're going to get us by hook or crook.
Yeah.
So is this not another rubber stamp? I don't know. We'll wait to see how it plays out. But they've been paid all along, so we don't know. But I appreciate you coming and giving us the chance to fix your opinions and our concerns. And like you said, who's championing our position? I don't see any officials here whatsoever.
That's right. Nope.
And I agree with him. The last guy that spoke, everything he said, I agree with it. Just like he read my notes as well.
Yeah.
But as I see it, I disagree with this. Do not give them the chance to destroy what we have.
That's right.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Sister Don Butler, and two things I'd like to say. My first clue why not to rely on this company was when they said they would not be liable if it went wrong. Why would you issue a permit to somebody who tells you they don't know what they're doing and they don't know if it will be successful? My second point is about healthcare. We all know that healthcare costs are going up. We know that people available to work in healthcare is going down, becoming scarcer and scarcer. And the truth is that our land, our water, and our air are our primary healthcare providers. When we don't protect them, then we put all of life in danger. Not just our life, but all of living things.
I forgot to turn this in.
Just, we'll get it at the end, okay? No problem.
Hi, I am Sister Emily Tukolsky, T-E capital K-O-L-S-T-E. I am like Sister Donna and Sister Barbara, I'm a Sister of Providence. And I want to thank you for being here, and thank you for the work that you do to protect our environment. I'm particularly concerned about two things. One, the anhydrous ammonia project. Anhydrous ammonia is a toxic gas when exposed to the air. And this is our lives that they are talking about playing with if there's any issues at all. They're not, as you just heard Sister Donna say, they're not liable, but it's our lives, it'll be the cost of our families, our children, not mine obviously. But also the question of the carbon capture and sequestration. This project proposes to create more carbon and capture some of it. We're talking about billions of dollars, well over $1 billion in subsidies. There are much more proven technologies that could take carbon that already exists in the air and store it in the ground. These things like soil carbon capture, that kind of funding could help the farmers in this area to transform their farms. That's a very costly and risky venture. To transform a farm, to move away from artificial fertilizers, but instead they're proposing to exacerbate the use of artificial fertilizers instead of using, helping farmers to transform their farms to become carbon capture sources. And so that is a much better use, much less risky, and it supports the people who are already in the community instead of generating profits for people out of this community.
Thank you.
Debbie Watson. I've been to all the WER meetings that they have had.
Nobody believes the propaganda that they're telling us. You can't hear? I'm sorry. The first meeting, they admitted that none of them were experienced. They did not know how far the carbon dioxide would travel into the pore space. If the dioxide stalls and it cracks the cap rock, we're dead. Water's gone. And you can't fix that. They say, oh, we got a 24-hour mending station. We got all this equipment. It's going to turn it off if there's a problem. Okay, it turns it off because it's got a hole in it. Doesn't the pipe have to empty? Would the rest of it come up? It has to get out there somehow. Just because they turn it off, what's at the end of the pipe? There's an elementary school that's 2 miles, a little more than 2 miles from where they're going to put those wells. Not only elementary school, there's a college not too much farther down the road. I don't want to sit in my house and start seeing those children on that playground start falling down because there is nothing you can do to save them. In the emergency response system, they told me they would buy those masks, personal masks, whatever. I said, for every child in that school, oh sure, come on. You know that's not true. You know they're not going to do that. They're taking land. It's not for public use. It's for their own private use. They're going to make billions of dollars off of this. And they weren't going to do it until all this tax abatement stuff come around. And then they're, oh, we're going to make a lot of money, so they jumped on. Not considering at all. And even in our community, they call us low income. We're coming to your community because you're low income. And they also go into brown and black communities because they think they're low income. I informed them that was insulting. They don't know we're not low income. They don't know that. It's just, and another thing, this is God's world. God gave us this planet to live on. Because they destroyed it from the top, they now want to destroy it from the bottom. What if he doesn't want that? What if nature doesn't cooperate and move that carbon dioxide? Again, what if their mechanical equipment stops? It's a death trap. It's a time bomb, and we don't want to be their lab rats. That's right.
Thank you.
My name is Mike Kelly. Can you hear me? And I worked at Newport Army Ammunition Plant, so I knew that we have the largest water supply aquifer in the eastern. We have the largest water supply in an aquifer, form of an aquifer, in the eastern United States. It's got a little bit of water in it. It's a little bit bigger than all the Great Lakes put together. It's a little bit bigger than all the Great Lakes put together, and it's fresh water here. And they're going to put a well within 10 miles of it. And the coverage area, by their drawing, their maps, is going to sink underneath that. They talk about putting it under bedrock. The southern well is under bedrock, pretty well covered. The other is just a finger of bedrock that sticks out. The rest of it's unconsolidated slate. So it can leak up through there into the aquifer. It actually shows it going beyond the aquifer and coming up on the other side. Now, I don't know anybody that would want to poison the Great Lakes or any water source that feeds Indianapolis, Vermilion County, Vermilion County basically, because it's the township, it's Fairview, it's Clinton, it's also Paris, Illinois. The water comes from here, and it also goes almost to Danville now. Why would anyone take a chance that it might contaminate that aquifer? And they can't guarantee anything. And they're not responsible if it does. So I'd like to ask you to reject their permit and protect that aquifer, no matter who asks you to put a plant or anything on it that's possibly could contaminate our water source. It's one of our most valuable resources in our
Her name will be picked up and will be recorded, so.
My name's Bev Andrews, and I live in Goshen, and I've lived there for 50 years. So please deny these air permits. Wabash Valley Resource Permit data says there are getting significant impact levels of nitrogen dioxide in the air. This can cause lung disease, damage foliage, and harm vegetation. So this will reduce crop yields. I'm sure there are other problems I don't know about yet. I have a grandchild, as you saw her. She's outside because she couldn't sit anymore. I'm very concerned, but I don't feel like I've had enough time to learn everything about this. Please extend the comment period so we have a chance to learn about this issue and make our voices heard.
Clayton Sanquenetti, CLATE-SANQUENETTI. I got a lot of concerns, so I'm going to keep it short, but Wabash Valley Resources, we're supposed to have a environmental impact study, which has never been seen or heard of. We don't know if they ever completed it or not, and that kind of has issues with me about some of the birds and the wildlife around the plant. Air quality also kind of pertains to that, I would think. Another thing is that Wabash Valley Resources have kind of, the words I'm looking for, I'm kind of lost today. Kind of on the spot, everybody's looking at me, it's making me nervous. Look the other way, everybody, look the other way.
Wabash Valley Resources kind of jumped the gun on this project, got ahead of themselves.
Yeah, they haven't done a real good job of informing people, and the way they decided to locate where they're going to put their wells, they took a car ride and they said that would look like a good place to do that. It's concerning. I'm just hoping that IDEM and all these government offices, you know, that are in charge of this stuff are not forced to make a decision on what legislation has put into place. And just remember that there's a lot of people watching every move that everybody makes on this. Everybody's being watched.
Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Shirley Dales, EWNS. This is regard to Ms. Abby's question and what Mr. Sanquenetti said. They were trying to figure out how to locate. And one of the representatives said that they took a car ride and they said that this looks like a really good spot. There's not very many people in it. From what I understand, for a meeting since then. There have been a couple, 2 or 3 families that have come in. But the thing that concerned me the most, and folks, if I'm wrong, please tell me, but the gentleman that was speaking, he said that he moved into the Wabash Valley. And when he was asked, did you move into the area where the plant was going to be, he said, no, I moved further south. And so he didn't want to move his own family close enough to where this facility was going to be. He didn't feel it was safe enough for his family. And for somebody from their own company stating that they don't want to have their family that close, I think that speaks volumes for the people that are going to be right next to it. We're farther north, but our hearts hurt for these folks and how things are being pulled apart. When the company itself says, well, we looked at where that plume is going to be, and I moved my family farther south in Terre, Haute instead of right up there. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I have another thing to say. I don't get it, Mike.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You need to wait your turn and come back up to the podium and get thank you.
Hi, my name's Larry Tackett, T-A-C-K-E-T-T, and I worked at the coal gasification plant. They had 2 reactors there, and one of the reactors at one time, they wanted to use Pepco in it, and they used Pepco and it got too hot, and one of the reactors actually split, and it was like 8-inch steel, and it had 3 layers of fire brick inside that. And my question is, are they going to use these reactors to produce their product? I mean, it seems to me that that's the reason they would want that plant so bad, is for the reactors.
Sorry guys, it's me again.
Sorry, wait a minute.
That's what happened to me too, so I'm just popping into my head.
If you're getting up for a second time or even a third time, please state your name clearly for the record each time that you approach the podium. Thank you.
Debbie Watson. My aunt used to say to me, water, water everywhere but none to drink. Has anybody else ever heard that saying? Guess what? I didn't know what she was talking about. Guess what? I do now. Hi, I'm Whitney Boyce again. I teach here in the county, and I just wanted to make sure that everyone was aware of some of the things that they're going to throw into the air, right? And some of that information is hard to find. So first off, carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxide, which is laughing gas, particulate matters, and sulfuric acid, which is battery acid, as a mist, is going to be put into the air. Now, as a teacher, I'm really concerned with the health impacts it's going to have on our kids. A couple of the biggest issues we have here in Vigo County and Vermilion County with our children is asthma and bronchitis. And these things are proven to either worsen or cause asthma and bronchitis. And having seen a child have an asthma attack to the point they cannot breathe, I can't handle that on a daily basis. And that terrifies me. So, I really don't understand why after getting rid of so much pollutant, we're taking a step backwards. Working towards environmental justice means that we all have to work together. And we have not been asked. Our opinions have not been garnered. And we're here tonight just to tell you that we are so strongly opposed to Wabash Valley Resources getting these permits. I'm not sure why, after we as a country frown on China for using pet coke, which is the dirtiest of the dirty pollutants, that we're going to allow a company to come in and use that as their major feedstock.
Now that pet coke, it has leftovers when it is burnt, and that turns into something that is very similar to fly ash, and Duke Energy has been trying to clean up their fly ash for years. I drive past it every night on my way home, and they're not done yet. These things pose great risks to our most vulnerable populations, our elderly, and our kids. My family's been here forever, and I'm gonna be here forever, because I love this place. And we're just very concerned about the long-term impacts that people don't know about yet with these things. We are concerned that we're bringing it back after we fought so hard to get rid of it. And we just ask that you deny these permits for Wabash Valley Resources, because we as a community deserve clean air and we deserve clean water.
Thank you.
Cool off a little bit now. I want to say a few more things. Second time I was up there. And Miss Wilson, Bill Wilson. I was coming home the other day from the field with hay. My neighbor, 95-year-old lady out the road, and I stopped and talked to her till her girl came and picked her up. Anyway, she was worried about this carbon stuff. And I told her, I said, don't you worry. I said, we've got 2 other people, EPA new people, and they will take care of it. If they don't, we will. Now I'm gonna tell you something. A young man comes up and asks me, he said, do you think I'd go into service? You know what I told him? No. I said, you don't want to go into service now. You got to stay here and take care of your country here. We got foreigners in here now that's over this, running this. Now what is wrong with that picture? I don't get it. But I sure hope you people can do something. But I don't want this to get out of hand, and they're not coming on my property.
Thank you. Ma'am, if you don't mind waiting a second. Are you sure? Okay.
My name is Lynette Blackburn, and I have lived around here forever. And I don't want to see the animals and things go away. And I have several grandchildren that all go to Fayette School, and I don't want to see my grandchildren fall dead on the playground. And I think that's very important to all of us, because I think we all have children and grandchildren that we are worried about. And so I say no to this.
Thank you.
My name is Ken Crane. The question I have, I see here that you guys are air quality. Why isn't the Indiana water permits, why aren't they here? Because when this carbon dioxide is put into the ground, it reacts with the water to make carbonic acid. And it will deteriorate the rock that's there. That's why acid rain does it now. And I just don't understand, is there, once it's in the ground and it reacts with this water that's in the ground, what will they do to stop that? I don't understand how that all works. Should they be included in that, the water management people? The other thing is, I don't understand what penalties there is for not meeting the limits that are in the permit. Are the penalties included in the permit when they don't meet those limits? I want to know about I hear about the monitoring of air, but what about subsurface monitoring? Is there any requirements for subsurface monitoring? Anything that might go on, like transfer of water from one location to another that might have carbonic acid in it? So, I don't know. Thank you.
Thank you.
I will make this brief. Barbara Batista. I realize I didn't put one of my comments in the form of a question because I would like an answer back. And I had made a point that it says if an applicant demonstrates that they will be able to comply with all federal and state laws regarding air pollution, would you please show me, respond, help me to see how the company is going to be able to demonstrate that they will comply? How do they prove that they will be able to comply with those federal and state laws regarding air pollution? Thank you.
Thank you.
Where do we go from here? When people speak up about this project?
So I need to ask, are there any more, there we go.
Sorry.
Ian Loomis, IALOOMIS. I'll try to keep this pretty brief. Our local elected officials, commissioners, county council, by their own statements have said that they were told separate stories when they voted in favor of tax breaks, tax abatement, things like that, on what this project's supposed to be about. And clearly, not only has the scope of this project changed, but it's changing again. This aligns with our community views on being misled regarding what this company intends to do, what the scope of this project is, and what type of damages it could have to our community, both in terms of property, life safety, economic, the list goes on and on. We've also heard time and time again that this is out of our local government's hands, that there's nothing that can be done in terms of the permits. And that might be the case, but perhaps our county's tax abatement needs to be reconsidered. Perhaps our community needs to attend a local county council meeting and ask that the tax abatement be reconsidered so that we're not continuing to allow this to happen, and at least our local officials can say, hey, we might not be able to stop the permits, but at least since we're seeing all these changes and this isn't aligning with what we've been told, these permits or these tax abatements should not continue. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Dina Evans, and I have a question for those of you sitting there and where this goes from here. When you present this to whoever's going to make this decision, are they only going to be able to make that judgment through the transcribed information? Do they make their consideration that way?
Upon conclusion of this public hearing, I will be able to let you know what our next steps will be.
That still doesn't answer my question. Here's my thing. For as many people who are sitting here, you've had maybe, well, not half of them have come up here and spoke. If you only use the transcribed information, every person in this place ought to walk up here and tell you no. Because you're not going to get that written information as what's in this room. Do you see what I'm saying? you're only going to get just a brief of what's here. They can't see the room, but there are people who aren't going to walk up here and give you a big story. That's why I want to know, is that how the decision is going to be made? If it is, every person ought to walk up here, tell you their name, and tell you they do not want it.
I really wasn't going to speak tonight because I wanted to hear what the audience was going to say. I've seen people stand up here 2 or 3 times that had good opinions, but that's not what the people are looking for tonight. They want something from you people to say, where do we go from here? Now, I know you're sitting on a hot spot because there's been good reasons why we shouldn't. One of them is safety. No one from this plant down there has laid out any kind of a safety guideline for even the commissioners. And our commissioner in Vermilion County said he has no one to go to. He doesn't know where to go past the representative. So then we come here tonight, and I thought this meeting tonight, there would be a representative from this outfit. And I can't say anything bad about them. I don't know anything bad. But what they're proposing, you don't have to be a scientist to know you're going to put this part of the county and part of Vigo County in a bad situation if something goes bad. What you see on TV. They said a 10-mile plume. You know how many towns 10 miles takes? Negotiate, West Terre, Haute, Blandford, part of St. Bernice, part of Fairview, part of Clinton. That's who you're affected by this. And I'll say this, I'm not real good with words, but if you guys go along with this, you're going along with somebody that's going to make a fortune. And I'll say this, and I probably shouldn't, you don't need to be on IDEM, Department of Environmental Management. No, because you're not looking at the full spectrum. We don't need something like that. You're for the economic growth. What are they going to do? Hire 5 guys and say we'll pay them big money? But look at what we're doing to the ground. Have you guys ever seen a 5,000 foot deep casing go to the ground? When they get down so far, they're going to have to use explosives. And what happens when they get down and it's right on an aquifer? And you damage that aquifer. That's the only thing the 3 states in this part of the country have that giant aquifer. And if we lose it, we have nothing. You wake up one morning and everything from that day on can't even get a drink of water. So that's what better be looked at here. The environmental impact of this is far greater than anyone dreams. I don't care if there's a factory that comes in here and makes good and they can do something for the air, but this is not the good way to start this because there's no substantial answers that you guys have probably heard from. And I just don't think it's a good idea. Mark Usselman. Mark. Usselman, U-S-E-L-M-A-N.
I'm not sure what name you want me to give you, what people call me. Jack Swalls, S-W-A-L-L-S. S-W-A-L-L-S, Jack first. Anyway, I believe this lady, when she spoke and said we should get up here and say no, and I'm saying no. In fact, I'm saying hell no. I've got grandkids, comes out, I got 2 ponds, and I'm right next to this fiasco. I'm trying to hold it down. But if something happens to one of my grandkids cause this, it ain't gonna be good. And that's not a threat. It just, it ain't gonna be good no matter, little kid's life, my life, my wife's life, all my fish in my 2 ponds, got pheasant, quail out there that we enjoy watching them. But every morning I have about 15 rabbits chopping around in my yard. And my little buddy, dog, little buddy, tries to chase them, never catches them, thank goodness. But we bought this place, about 96 acres. We go out on our porch occasionally, breathe the fresh air. We love it. It's semi-quiet. It was quieter than this a few years back. But right now, they have built a lot of houses than what they were. And the other thing I need to say was when I was attending the meeting at Universal, the gentleman that was the spokesperson, we asked questions about how did you pick this place, and like they had said, well, when I come out, 2018, there were just a couple. We thought, well, we can deal with a couple people, make them happy. But now all of us has moved in there, and he goes, oh, I should have come out. I made a mistake. I apologize to you. He apologized 25 times in that meeting. I don't know, but if I was his boss, oh my goodness, when I got him out there, yeah, he'd behind look like a blooming onion, I'll tell you. For standing up there and telling them like it was in his eyes. But he kept apologizing to the people there. I just thought, if you can make that many mistakes on your own, how can we believe in what you're telling me is the gospel? And my understanding is the part owner has got 2 other companies that he's got. I'm not saying anything than what they are now, or wanting to make, but both of those has had an explosion. One recently, about a month ago. And I'm sure he was going to stand there and tell us that they were safe and nothing's going to happen. Y'all can sleep good at night. You're going to get up in the morning, put a smile on your face. But not those people that got injured there when the side of the building blew down. They're not able to smile anymore. So, thank you. We do appreciate that.
Hi, my name is Kim Beeler, B-E-E-L-A-R, and I'm coming up here before you, like the last 2 people that talked, to let you know I want it to be on the record. No, please vote no for the CO2 plant. It's not good for our community. Just recently in the news, anhydrous ammonia, a leak killed 5 people in a wreck. That's just out of a truck, let alone a 10-mile plume under our homes. So I want it on the record, I vote no.
Thank you.
Travis Newman, I'm back. Someone wanted to ask this question, and they didn't want to come up here, so I came up here for them. If something goes wrong, will you feel good about telling your grandkids you approve this? So that was their question to you. And I guess my question to build off that is, can you go back after you've heard all this input from the community, and go back and give this feedback to the decision makers, if you're them, or if there's more involved in the decision than just you? Can you actually say that, yes, let's permit that in that community because it's a fit? It clearly is not a fit. The people reject it. The people do not want it. The people do not trust the company that is on the application. They don't trust the company that might be behind that company, and the one behind that, because there's so much deception, and it's not, they're hiding in the dark, and they want to keep everyone else in the dark, and that's why this community is so much of an uproar over this, because it was sprung on them by the EPA. That's when they first ever called into this, was when the EPA notified them in July. So all this work has been done, building up to this point, and then they finally notify impacted, affected persons in July after years of working towards this. And the people clearly don't want it. It's not a fit, and the company has built no trust, zero trust in the community. Another thing of that was there's a lot of people that are leaving and going on, but the question is, where do we go from here? Well, there's some people that are going to be going this Saturday to Northview High School, because there's a Republican caucus to replace the author, John Ford's position in the Senate, Indiana Senate. So they're going to go there. You can look on Facebook for that. That's Saturday. Get with your representatives locally. Vermilion County is working on ordinances on this, on the other effects, obviously not the air that you're all here for, but the county is looking at doing an ordinance, so get with Vermilion County to work on that. So I'll just leave it with, it's not a fit, it can't be a fit, deny this permit, do not allow it to happen. Thank you.
Thank you.
One more just quick thing here. Last night, Town Universal, my name is Doug Martin, Town Board President, Universal, Indiana, the town that Wabash Water Resources is not known. Okay, Doug Martin, Town Board President, Universal, Indiana. Last night, the Town Board passed a resolution against carbon sequestration by Wabash Valley Resources in our backyard. Legally, this probably doesn't mean anything. If we get enough towns and counties around this state to start writing these ordinances, moratoriums on pipelines, whatever you can do, we have to send a statement to the state. We have to tell the state we don't want this here in this state. All right? So your politicians sitting around, I don't see any of them here, maybe there's a few. They're sitting around thinking they can't do anything. Well, maybe not. But that doesn't mean you don't try. So I say you go to all your representatives and you tell them, get something on paper against this. It should be done. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Sport, S-P-O-R-E-R. Low Sport, S-P-O-R-E-R, and I'm just saying no. Flo Evinger, E-V-I-N-G-E-R, no.
John Holinger, O-L-I-N-G-E-R, no.
Robin Hoover, R-O-B-E-I-N-W-I-O-B-U-R. I say no, and I just ask that you deny the permits.
My name is Joe Watts, W-A-T-T-S, and I'm against this permit, and I'd like to say one additional thing. All night long, everyone has spoken about the technical reasons for this not being allowed. I appreciate you being here. I'm going to say, we have been here with no political help at all. It's already been said this evening. We left to fend for ourselves when these politicians knock on our door wanting our money and they want our vote, but when the shit hits the fans, nobody I'm asking you guys to help us out. I'm asking you to vote for what's inside those shirts, and that's your heart. So more by the heart than by the book.
Kathy Watts, KathyWatts. I do not want this in my neighborhood. I got grandkids. I don't want to see anything happen to them. Debbie Watson again, no. Will you accept something happens that you approved? Kathleen Miller, KATHLEN, I say no to this permit, and in my conscience and my mind down the road, I will be glad that I stepped out against it.
I'm on that Blackburn, it's L-Y-N-E-T-T-E, Blackburn, B-L-A-C-K-B-U-R-N, and I vote definitely no.
Tina Evans, I ask you to vote no.
Terry Evans, I vote no. This is just a handful of people in large communities. They all vote no.
Hello, Cindy Pyle, P-Y-L-E. I'd like to just read the top of your memo here. It says, "We protect Hoosiers and our environment." Now, I realize this company and your group only works with the air, but this company is also trying to pollute not only our air, but our land and our water. Can you guarantee to protect Hoosiers and our environment? 100% guarantee. If not, please deny this permit.
Diana Masak, D-I-A-N-A-M-A-C-A-K. Please vote no.
Tony Masak, please vote no, deny this permit. Thank you.
Julie Scott, please deny these permits.
Doug Scott, please deny these permits.
Evelyn Davis, I vote no. Please deny this. This is our home. I look around the room and I see people I went to school with. My daughter went to school with their kids. My grandkids went to school with their grandkids. And my parents went to school with their parents. We've got 5 generations in this room of a lot of families. This is our home. Don't do this to our home.
Excuse me for a second. We are still conducting a public hearing in this room. We definitely want the transcriber to pick up everything that is said to us. So can we ask everyone to just keep it down until we conclude the public hearing? And I believe once we get through this line, then we'll be ready to conclude. Thank you, and I appreciate your help.
Linda Brown, L-I-N-D-A-B-R-O-W-N. I say no.
Mike Miller, I hope you could hear the compassion in everyone's voice that spoke tonight and do the right thing for these people who like vote no on the program. Thank you.
Francis Scott, I vote no. I've lived here for over 50 years and raised family and grandkids, and I just don't think it's a good idea to disrupt our community.
Tom Watson, no.
Shirley Downs, thank you again for being here
gas explosion in his house where outside leak sifted through the pipe, around the pipe that came in his house. That made things subject to failure. And my brother, I would have had 31 more years with him today, and that's worth more than $1 billion for me. I vote no, and we'll be praying for your decisions. Pardon?
Say your name again.
Gerald Downs.
Gerald?
Gerald, Gerald, and Downs, D-O-W-N-S. Thank you.
Rosemary Scott, SCOTT. Thank you all for being here. I know it's tough to maybe hear criticism for something maybe you aren't directly involved in. Somebody has to do these jobs, and I think it's wonderful that citizens step up and then you're here to listen to everyone. But my sentiments are with the group. You know, there's an old saying that says you protect what you love. So I would ask you to walk in the shoes of the people that will be directly involved in this. Not sympathize, but empathize. Because I really think that there's too many unanswered questions. Maybe at some point, this may not be as scary. I'm sure there are people who are very talented that have letters behind their names and have degrees in science who would beg to differ. But at this stage, I don't think we're there yet. And I say err on the side of caution. And remember that you are to manage. It's in the title. So I say manage, but manage with a grain of salt. Thank you.
Kim Beeler, B-E-E-L-E-R, and I vote no.
I'm George Beeler, I vote no.
Gary Tatlock, please deny the permits.
Wade Biggs, W-A-D-E-B-I-G-G-S, I vote no.
Patricia Fiddler, L-E-T-I-C-I-A-F-I-D-D-L-E-R. Please deny permits.
Val Keys, K-E-Y-E-S, please deny your permits.
Jaylene Wolf, J-A-Y-L-E-N-E, Wolf like the animal with an E, please deny these permits.
Thank you for listening. We do appreciate your time. My name is Lana Thralls, T as in Tom, H-R-A-L-L-S, and I'm asking you to please deny these permits.
I'm Scott Charles, and we need your help to stop this.
Kathy Brock, B-R-O-C-K, and when they had to pass a law that eminent domain was legal in just only 2 counties out of the whole state, you know, we call that unconstitutional. We live here. They came to our property offering us like astronomical amounts of money, which we knew something wasn't right. They lied. They didn't tell us what they were really going to do there. They let on like it was just going to be a little old ammonia pipeline, and we already got those essays, not a big deal. Well, we kind of thought maybe they was crazy with that kind of money they offered us. Well, they're liars. They just lied. They're still lying today. You know, we just asked you to deny the permit. Thank you.
Bill Wilson, W-I-L-S-O-N, been there 74 years. I was the one that they were talking to. I say no. My brother that died a year ago says no. And Kimmy will be alone. Thank you.
Carol Biggs, C-A-R-O-L-Y-N, B-I-G-G-S, and I vote no.
Name's Larry Biggs, B-I-G-G-S, I vote no too.
Judy Flowers, J-U-D-Y,
T-Y-D-A-N-I-E-L-S, and I'm asking you to please vote no for these permits.
My name is Eric Daniels, D-R-I-C-D-A-N-I-E-L-S. Please vote no for this proposed project. It has no positive benefits for the environment of this community.
I choose color, I-T-H-C-O-N-N-O-R. And it's my children here that have been here 80 years. I just want these children to go away and leave us alone. I don't know.
I'm Dana Kristen, D-A-N-A-C-H-R-I-S-M-A-N. I'm begging you to say no. This is my home my entire life, so please say no.
Sydney Lighting, C-I-N-D-Y-L-Y-D-I-C-K. Please deny the permit.
Jack Lighting, L-Y-D-I-C-K. I vote no.
Hi, my name is Larry Natale, and I represent the town of Fairview Park, and all 1,400 of us vote no.
Hi, I'm Vicki Whitmire, P-R-C-K-I-W-R-T-T-E-N-M-Y-E-R, and I would please hope that you will vote no.
My name is Gloria Watson, G-L-O-R-I-A-W-A-T-S-O-N. I wanted to bring up just 2 points that was not brought up tonight at all. That we live in an area that is saturated with mine tunnels, and we're also very close to Vincennes. We live near the New Madrid Fault, which we had 4 small quakes last month that were felt as close to Vincennes. So please keep that in your mind when you deny this permit. Thank you.
Excuse me, I need to ask again for some respect for the public hearing that is going on right now. If you need to talk, please take it outside. I believe we're getting close to wrapping this up, but I am going to ask for your consideration until we get to that point. Thank you.
My name is Geraldine Varner, V is in Victor, A-R-N-E-R. I vote no. I also point out, and I don't know that this is within your realm, this is a large country. We have a lot of barren land. It would seem to me that projects like this should be there and not near the public.
My name is Barb Edler, E-D-L-E-R. I am here from the other side of the river because this company informed the Indianapolis paper, none of the local papers. And so the people over on the other side of the county, the news has not covered it, are not even aware. And my concern is, besides I have family in Clinton, if the water supply gets affected, it's going to be more than just Clinton and Universal and Goshen and Fayette. It's going to be all of us. And nobody even knows what's going on. Like I ask people, they don't even know what's going on around them. So it's up to people like you to protect them from their ignorance. And I put it out on Facebook, and I think it's been blocked. I got absolutely no responses from anybody. So I'm asking you to be the Aaron Brockoviches of this situation, because it's not just about just the people in this room. There's a whole bigger picture.
Thank you. My name is Jenny Smith, S-M-I-T-H, and I'm saying no to this. I've lived here 70 years. It's been shaft lined. Peabody shook the dishes in our cupboards. This is not stable ground. Please stop.
George Smith, SMITH, I spoke once before. One thing I haven't heard anybody mention is, can this process force more radon out of the ground? That's a cancer-causing gas, and if you're shoving something in, something might escape. And of course, I'm voting no. Thank you for your time, and thank everybody else for taking their time too.
John Bull, JOHN, ELL, I vote no on this.
Hi, my name is Susan Stilcos. I want to say thank you for coming and listening to us, even though most of this was not about you, but it is about us. And you guys have control over that. I vote no. Please, please, please deny the permits. Appreciate you.
My name is Tanner Koss, KOS, TANNER. I vote no on this project.
My name is Teresa Giovanni, TERESA GIOVANINNO, and I say no.
Jennifer Stoll, CMTO, CIAMTEO. I vote no.
Lorraine Osborne, OSB ORNE. Please deny the permits for Wabash Valley Resources. Thank you.
Bill Osborne, OSB ORNE. Please don't issue.
Darla Christ, CRIST. I just want to talk briefly about a term that we have in common. I've been to every one of these meetings so far, and I hear the word stewardship talked about a lot. Everybody who's been here at these meetings are stewards of this land in a private sense. You are stewards in a public sense, and I'm asking you to be stewards for us and deny these permits. Thank you.
My name is Mike Kelly, KEY, and I'd like you to deny the permits and take into consideration what I said about the aquifer.
Louder.
Pardon me?
Just hold the mic closer.
My name is Mike Kelly, it's KEY, and I'd like you to take into consideration what I said about the aquifer, and not let anybody really pump any type of poison anywhere near it. And so therefore I'd like you to deny these permits. Thank you very much for listening to us.
Katrina Jones, JONES. I would like to request you deny these permits.
Amy McLennan. I don't know if I made myself clear enough earlier, but I want to say please deny Wabash Valley Resources these permits and any other company name they may choose to operate under. Protect us. Thank you.
My name is Whitney Boyce, BOYCE. First off, Mr. Wade, I want to tell you thank you personally, because I tried to call many in office, and you were the only person that answered my call and called me back, so thank you. I ask that you deny these permits. We're taking a place that has no air pollution currently, and we're putting in a new source. I ask that you think about our kids. I ask you think about our environmental rebound that we work very hard to procure, and I ask that you think about our future. Please say no. Thank you.
My name is Ben Lenderman, Lenderman. I am a seventh generation person from a homestead family. We have a family farm. My children are the 8th generation to live on the same land. We've been neighbors with all these people all these years. Our families know each other very well. My question is, 444 West Sanford Avenue. public record is registered to Duke Energy. It was transferred last year. The permits are filed under that address, but with Wabash Valley Resources name. Isn't that an issue? My question is that legal? And secondly, is Wabash Valley Resources a front for Duke Energy? Who really is applying for the permits? I think that's a legitimate question that I would like answered. Additionally, I'd just like to comment that since the 1820s, my family has lived here. And several other people in this room were distant relation, neighbors, they've been here that long too. In all of that time, our farm families have taken great pride in taking care of this land. The trees, forest management, select logging, keeping fertility in the soil, making sure that runoff doesn't destroy our land, waterways. I've done quail habitat projects, pheasant projects, all kinds of things. My neighbors do the same things. I have 3 children. I have a responsibility to pass on the best farm and the best land and the best environment that I can. And I believe that's your office's responsibility as well. So thank you for coming. But on behalf of all the Lindermans, going back to John Henry, Leonard Bruce, Eva, Hugh, Floydie, Earl, Violet, all the ones that aren't here that came before me, I'm asking you to deny these permits.
Good evening. My name is Jessica Loomis, Loomis. First and foremost, I totally appreciate you guys being here. You've been very polite to all of us. You've sat there and intently listened to all of us. And I cannot tell you how much that means, because in prior meetings with the company and politicians and everything, I think a lot of us felt like we were just almost laughed at, like they just didn't really care what we had to say. So you guys are the first ones that I've personally noticed to actually like listen to us. So thank you very much. One of my main question is, with the extra toxins that they're going to put into the air, how is that going to affect our community that do have respiratory issues? Coming from someone who has asthma flare-ups when the seasons change, someone who gets bronchitis if I breathe in like smoke from a fire. How is this going to add to those problems that I have? Just breathing in the air around us. I also have a child who has asthma and has suffered from asthma his entire life. We have a nebulizer that's readily available whenever he has an asthma flare-up. It could just be caused by a common cold. How's this going to affect him? I'm just pleading to you as like a mother, a very concerned mother, and for my own health and safety. Please don't let this company deceive you. Please do not let them put more toxins into our air when we already have as many problems as we have. Thank you very much for your time.
Ian Loomis, I spoke before. If there's one thing I've learned over the years, it's when my wife's done speaking, to probably just be done speaking. Best job, I vote no as well, or I ask that you say no on this. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Miriam Vermillion, Vermillion. What I would ask is that you please deny these permits and stop this fiasco.
Michael Vermillion, Vermillion. Please deny these permits.
Greg Vermillion, ask that you please deny these permits. My vote is no.
I appreciate the opportunity. My name is James Dawson, D-A-W-S-O-N, and if you would please deny this for our benefit and our children.
Emily Tukolsky, Tekolste, thank you for being here. Please protect our community and deny these permits.
Ken Crane, the risk here is far greater than the rewards. Please deny and reject this permit.
Madonna Swallows, please reject the permits. Madonna Swallows.
Do we have any other commenters? Okay, this concludes this evening's public hearing. Thank you for attending, and we appreciate West Vigo's middle school and high school allowing us to use their auditorium, their cafeteria, and their mics, which we finally figured out. Thank you. Now that the meeting's done, I can kind of respond to you a little bit. Yes, what we're going to do is go back to Indianapolis. We're going to wait till we get the transcripts from this. We are going to be certain to address all comments that we received. Any questions we will answer to the best of our ability. If it is outside of the scope of our office, we will put you in touch with somebody that can answer that question. Again, please remember, I am an air specialist. These are air specialists. We really are not water specialists, so we'll reach out to those departments and try to get some responses for you and definitely give you some contacts. Once we go through the comments, we will review them, lay them against the permit, make sure that the permit is technically sound. There were some comments brought up today that, yes, we need to look at that and make sure that that is or isn't in there and address it, and if it needs to get in the permit, we'll put it in there. Upon issuance, if the permit does issue, it will have a technical addendum to the technical support document, which will have responses to all comments received in this room and any other comments received between now and the end of the public comment period, which again is Tuesday, October 10th. Thank you.